Hey Louise.
Hi.
Hey, so happy that you could be here today. So thank you. And I'm loving the hair. It's
Oh, I thank you
fabulous.
very much. It's
So
Christmas coloured hair.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So you're part of the 2018 cohort, aren't you?
I am.
I do think it's really amazing that, you're part of the 2018 cohort, but you're talented at many other things.
I
But
think.
yeah, but that we started the whole thing. High performance started off in 2013. I'm part of the 2014 cohort, but it's funny how all of us still know each other, and we're all part of the UK cohort.
Hmm.
But it's because he makes us do retrain every year, doesn't he?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's nice to have that connection though, isn't it? From
Yeah.
people across that bandwidth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's so nice. And it's so nice to be held accountable. I mean, we keep our clients accountable, don't we, Louise? But it's nice that we get kept accountable by our coaching mentor, master, that makes us elevate and stay in a high performance language and keeps our behavior on track. And when it's challenging, keeps us in the tools.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So it's wonderful that you've taken your time to be here with us today. So please know that it is so appreciated.
It is my pleasure.
Um, so hello everybody, I am Nadine Benjamin. I'm a certified high performance coach. I'm an NLP accredited NLP mind coach, and I'm also an international soprano who sings all over the world. When I say NLP, I mean neuro, the brain, linguistic, how we speak to the brain, programming, the paradigm and the patterns that we set up that sometimes can make us feel limited. But actually, with coaching, with a bit of mentorship, with a bit of alignment, we realize how limitless we are. And this is how Louise and Nina, I've got two people on today. I've got Louise on at 12 noon today, and I've got Nina Amir on talking about productivity later on this evening at 9:30 p.m. And we just want you to know that when you go into 2021, that you are limitless. So today, Louise is going to be talking about necessity, which is an important high performance habit. So to introduce Louise Cartwright has 25 years experience in health, healing and coaching, and is qualified in various healing modalities, personal training, NLP and high performance coaching. Louise thanks her experience as a single parent, suffering with severe postnatal depression, eating disorders, alongside with huge debt that set her on the path to true transformation. She blends her intuitive gifts with certified high performance coaching to help small business owners create powerful identity shifts so that they can develop the mindset and behaviors for guaranteed success. Thank you, Louise. And I love championing, celebrating, and connecting people. And this is why we have the wonderful Louise here, because she's a celebration in itself. Her intuition and her radiating energy is so powerful that I just couldn't let you miss out on this lady. So just to remind you that Louise and myself are not medical doctors or psychiatrists. So please, if you need that help, please call 111, as Charlene Alfred said yesterday, and put that call in. There is somebody on the other end of the line. There's also the Samaritans. There are so many other places. But if you know somebody who could do with support and is shy or is a bit introspective, please, please, please pick up the phone to them. Check in with them, see if they're okay. It's okay. That's an esteemable act. It will build your own self-esteem. So, hello, Louise.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. So tell me, Louise, can you tell us what is your version of high performance?
For me, it's always thinking about how can I have the next level of experience of life so that I want to. So, what do I need to think? What do I need to do so that I'm creating maximum impact, creating maximum experience? Like one of my clients said, like drawing every drop of juice out of every single day.
Yeah.
And at the same time, making sure that I minimize the chances of any regret later on in life.
Oh, lovely. I love that thing around minimizing regret. Can you dig into that just a little bit?
Yeah, I just think, you know, the whole idea of mortality motivation, which obviously, you know, we learned from Brendan, but when my dad got sick for the first time quite a few years ago, it was one of those instant life changes when suddenly it's not just a concept anymore, but it's a tangible feeling that we don't know how long we have got on this earth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So and I'd spent a lot of time in regret in the past. So that sort of bit about being a single parent and depression and and I look back now and think, gosh, if only I knew then what I know now, right? So now I don't carry regret for that time, because that was the stepping stone to where I am today. But that is my dad led me to my primary drive being, I do not ever want to regret not having done something or said something or tried something. And I think that's, for me, talking about necessity today, it's a massive driving force for me, and I think we could all benefit a little bit more from being more aware of our mortality.
You know what? I mean, I didn't know we were going to go there straight away. This is great because, you know, like I've had that this year, Louise, where I haven't known where I'm going to be in my health. And I've been on chemotherapy I had my last one yesterday, and for the 6 months. And I've realised you are absolutely right. There is this thing in me that made me realise that under no circumstances can I live my life immigrant. I couldn't put a word to it, but you've just helped me to put a word to it today. You know, is that actually, like, I've got to show up every day living my best self. I just have to do that, because I don't know, none of us know how long we have. And that's not a bad thing. Like, so because people can see that as a right or wrong thing, or a good or a bad thing. It's just a reminder.
And I think that's true. It's not about being morbid, and it's also not an invitation. How can I put this? It's not an invitation to do all the things that you know you shouldn't really be doing. Like, oh, I'm going to eat all that chocolate. I'm going to drink all that stuff. It's not about that. It's really about, like, you know, we all know that the biggest regret of the dying is the things that they didn't do and not the things that they did do. And I don't know whether it's an age thing or whether it's just, you know, my life completely changed when I became a CHPC, and I didn't expect that. I went in to get a framework and I came out with a different life. I don't know what happened, right? But it was one of those moments, and it was, and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. But it was in that moment that I was like, we have no time to waste. And when we talk about meaning and purpose and impact, we have that every second of every day if we choose it.
Yes.
And it can be just for yourself. It can be with your children. It can be with your spouse, your parents, or it can be for a wider community. Whatever that is, I think that for me has been an absolute game changer.
I swear. So you mean, you excite me when you talk. What makes you then a high performer? Tell us what makes you a high performer.
Okay, so I was thinking about this today, and I think there's probably 4 things. I think number 1 is that I am really committed to practicing what I preach.
Yes, amen.
Right?
Yeah.
I really don't want to preach or teach about things that I am not actively engaged in. At the same time, I am completely transparent in my failures.
Yes.
So I'm far from perfect, and I don't ever want anybody to think that perfect is something to aim for.
Yes.
And I'm very much, my journey is very much about saying to people, this is hard. Right, but we get to choose whether the hard is like an engaging, growth orientated expansion, or whether hard is like a whingy, whiny, I can't do this. Like, we've got choice, right?
Yes.
The third thing for me is about, I have to pass it on.
Yes.
I love teaching. I love coaching. I love group experiences. I love just, you know, one of my things is magical conversations like this, right? I could live on a diet of magical conversations, I'm sure, with a bit of chocolate thrown in. So for me, it's not just for me, it's like it comes through you, and you have to be able to express that in other ways to just, I call it opening portals of possibility for other people. So
I love that.
The third thing. And then I think the 4th thing as well is always remembering that there is somebody else that you can learn from. So seeking coaching for yourself, mentorship, reading books. Like I had 6 books delivered from Amazon yesterday, which I'm so excited about.
I had two, yeah.
Oh, my husband wasn't very happy when the Amazon man arrived again. And really just about continuing that learning process. And I think what I love about high performance is that it's never just, it's not about success per se, right? It's not about wealth like on its own. It's about the wealth of the kind of life that you're living. So if you want to lean more into your relationship or more into your spirituality or more into your health, you get to choose that. So it's like, I'm getting a picture of like an equalizer, like on a, and we're constantly doing that and weaving into different areas where we can expand and contract. And that's it.
No, that's more than that's it. That's phenomenal. I love it. I love the way that you've just put that, I love this opening, this portal. Morning, John. Happy New Year to you. I love this portal, because we have just entered a new portal, haven't we, Louise?
Yeah.
And I can talk to you about that because I can talk to your higher self because I know that you are intuitive like this. Do you know what I mean? But we just entered that time and we just had a full moon as well.
I know. Felt that one yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So I love this opening this portal to new opportunities. And I think when you say about us choosing, we have to choose every day where we're going to walk through a new portal.
Absolutely.
Because I heard something the other day. Oh, who was I talking to? Oh my gosh. I was speaking to my amazing friend and I just can't, his name's just gone out of my head for some reason. But he said to this story to me and he was like, Nadine, we wake up, and we talk about in the day about having all these dreams, and we go, I can do this dream and then this dream, but dreams have many paths. The problem with humanity is that they can go to sleep and wake up and just keep choosing the same path.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was just like, wow.
Well, it's the whole concept, isn't it, of I wrote about our drives for certainty and uncertainty today.
Yeah.
And so if anyone's listening and want to go check out 6 Human Needs, it's well worth a read. And I'm much more driven by uncertainty. I get bored very quickly. I'm always up for a challenge. I'm not really bothered about how it turns out. I'm a bit like a snowplow. I'm going to just keep going, right? And what I've learned over the years is that when we try to contain the outcome into a box, we can only define that by what we know, what we've experienced, what we've seen. Well, infinite intelligence, I'm sorry to say, is way more clever than we are, and can give us the most amazing journey, an outcome bigger than we can ever expect. But we have to stay in that vibration of faith, no matter what.
Yes. So it's who we are. It's how still we can stay, how centered we can stay, even with the storm going all around us.
Absolutely.
How can we stay in our center and live from this radiating life, this radiating human spirit that we are? Oh, I love it. I love it. So tell me, what does necessity mean to you?
Okay, so you really made me think about these, didn't you? So for me, necessity is having the clarity and the courage and the commitment to always being able to generate the energy that you need to take action in alignment with your values and your dreams, regardless again of what's going on outside.
Yes.
Right? So sometimes our necessity is given externally to us.
Yes.
Right. So your journey recently has meant that you've had to raise necessity in certain areas. Like it was like, Nadine, you've got no choice, love. Here it is. Right. And I'm a big advocate for the fact that I think that change can come through 2 things. Change can come through crisis and change can come through choice.
Yes.
And I want to push people to go through choice versus crisis where possible.
Yes.
So, but when the external things change and necessity is given to us on a plate, like we are forced to step up.
Yes.
I want to ask people to find a way to generate the energy daily to do the things that are hard anyway, right?
Yeah.
And that's the challenging part, because let's go to health.
Yeah.
Most people will say they value their health.
Yeah.
But if we look at the state of the world, I'm going to hazard a guess that a lot of people don't really honour that value.
Yeah.
So necessity, you have to then find a way to raise your necessity to make yourself honour your physical and mental health.
Yes. Yeah.
And so for me, necessity is about how do I generate this? A client said to me last week, she said, how do I keep the fire burning when like it's starting to go out? So she was talking about how she'd got through a very busy period at Christmas time.
Yeah.
She was now in that limbo between Christmas and New Year. For her, she was expecting January and February to be very slow.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't let the fire go out.
Yeah.
Like, first thing, why would you let the fire go out? That's like running a 100-meter sprint and then stopping and trying to start again. Like, you've got to keep that momentum going. And for me, it's about really, owning your values and thinking about what's really important in your life. And then you find the necessity to take action, no matter how hard it is or how long it's going to take, and you just keep moving.
Yeah, I love that when you say don't let the fire go out, because it is, even when the fire is small, and that might be when we're in our rest time or our pause time, but the fire is still going. It's just small. It's like, what is it, that immersion, on the gas boiler, on the boiler.
Like the pilot light.
Yeah, the pilot light, that's it. I mean, we go into mayhem when the pilot light goes out.
I know, I'm having that problem right now, right? And it's like everything just goes. But I love that analogy, because the pilot light's always there, but the boiler's not always on.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
The temperature's got to get to a certain level, and then and I think that's the whole thing. And I love what you just said there as well. Is one of the things that I hear and see commonly is that people think, you say the word high performance and they like a rabbit in the headlights, and they think, I've got to be going all the time. Yeah. But another one of our CHPCs, Graham Snowden, he was one that reminded me, like, elite performance demands elite recovery.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think daily, weekly, monthly, like, we should see that you have a necessity to rest. You have a necessity to empty the vessel so that you can hear what the truth is and be the truth of who you are.
Yes.
And that allows you to keep that fire alight all of the time. I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely, Louise. Thank you so much. So can you tell me, how does necessity show up in your life then?
Oh, God, every day when I work. When I was thinking about this, I think the thing is, necessity, when you learn how to activate it, necessity stops you being the person that goes, oh, I've got to work out, I've got to have a green juice, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Like, you become the person who does those things.
Yes.
Right? And there's a very big difference in mindset and energy around those two things. So I don't wake up every morning like excited to work out.
Yes.
But I do it because that's who I am. So necessity is right there.
Yes.
Necessity, I've got 2 kids who are 19 and 20. Necessity demands that I am always in my high performance, influence and persuasion 101 going on right there. I don't do it very well all of the time at all.
Yeah.
I think for me, necessity is there the minute I wake up, because if I let the necessity go, then all the fears take over, and all the doubt takes over, and that dream that I'm striving towards seems so far away that it would be easier to go, what's the point?
Yes.
I've been doing it for so long, la 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 la.
Yeah.
Necessity reminds me that every day is my opportunity to live on and of purpose.
Yes. Yes.
And I think this year particularly has reminded me of what are the most important things to me.
Yeah.
It's easy, isn't it, to get caught up in when I blah blah blah, I will feel blah blah blah.
Blah, blah. Exactly.
And this year, not just obviously got what's gone on with COVID, but with my dad and everything, just that whole realization that, without certain things, nothing else matters.
Absolutely. And you know what, Louise, I feel exactly the same as you do. I mean, lots of people have said, that this year has been awful, or, they can't wait till it's over, and however, I have to say for me that the learning that I have had in 2021 has been golden. Mm-hmm. Because for me, I think what it did was it slowed me down. It got me to be really loads more specific about what I wanted in my life. It got me to really understand my values and see how I actually lived them by tiny, minute seconds.
Mm-hmm.
you know, it made me realize that actually I'm okay with who I am as a woman, and that I love my own company.
Love it.
You know, but I also recognize that I am interdependent of the people in my life that I love with all of my heart. And it actually got me to understand why asking for support and help and is so important, but there's no shame in that.
No, this is very true. Again, doing some coaching, and actually I was recording a podcast last week. The 5 permissions that we need to give ourselves so we can stop self-judgment, right? And the one at the end was, you don't need permission or support from anybody to succeed at your life.
No.
However, you want to create that circle of people that have got your back, that are there to cheerlead you, to push you, to hold you, to support you. Because it can, living life like this can be lonely, because at the moment it's still a few people that are doing it. So I know our job is to put that light out into the world and say, like, we're nothing special.
No.
We're no different to you.
Exactly.
We've just had the opportunity to experience this amazing thing, put it into our own life and see the results.
As I say, Louise, but we've got this treasure chest of tools, and so we just got a little bit more tools in the toolbox that makes us act immediately and just go, oh, I just need a bit of courage. Oh, I just need a bit of energy.
Absolutely.
Oh, I just need a bit of productivity.
It goes back to what you in your intro when you talked about like the NLP. Right. So that was really my introduction to, I've got this like machine in my head that I can reprogram. It's no different to your phone. Like, we literally can just continue to upgrade it once we understand how it works. And that has been hands down the biggest game changer. I talk to my clients about always challenging 3 things: your conditioning, your conversation, and your levels of comfort. Right? Every day, challenge those 3 things. And when you challenge that conversation, you're naturally going to start to unpack the conditioning that's got you to where you are. Then you get to pave that new pathway. And that's been such... And it's simple, right? The tools are simple. But the impact when you're consistent with them is exponential. And I think that's what is so hard sometimes to articulate to people, because how can you, without apart from our faces, just go mad. But to say like this, it's really simple stuff. But it's like the book, The Slight Edge. He says, the things that make the biggest difference are easy to do, and they're easy not to do.
Absolutely. Well, it's like what Brendan always says. He says common sense isn't always common practice. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's really, really true in so many people's worlds. It's that consistency and that level of commitment as well, as into saying, I'm going to do this, and choice, that commitment to your own choice, And I love what you just said around the conversation. I was speaking to Narelle Gorman the other day. She's a great marketing coach. I love her. Do you know what I mean? And she talks about, our biggest kind of conversion into our lives is our conversation.
Absolutely. And that's what comes back. Most of my, the ladies that I work with will come and say, I didn't understand, or I wasn't even aware of the consistent conversation going on in my head. It's there all the time. Look at what you're doing and look at what you're not doing, and you'll be able to track yourself back to what you're telling yourself. Exactly. Right. And I think when you said about like, how does necessity show up every day, it's awareness of that conversation. And because I'm all about creating, and if you want to go to the next level of life, you need a new identity. And taking off that layer, it's a little bit like Iron Man, the new suit, right? And it gets stronger and more powerful each and every time. But that's going to require you to be aware of the conversation and conditioning at this level to be able to live from the next level now.
And that's and I think I'm going to just stop you there, because I think that is one of the biggest things that people don't realize, that we're not living to the level. We're living from the level right now. So we're in it. We already are it. We're seeing it. So when it's attracts itself to us, we're already there in our mentality.
Absolutely. And I think that was something that for me, that was more like a layered. I think learning is layered anyway.
Yes,
right?
it is. Yeah,
But sometimes it might be like a 3-layer cake, and sometimes it's like a 20-layer cake that you've got to keep learning. But that was the realization for me, was that when and we know it, because I feel like when we feel like our energy body is ahead of us, so we're here in our physical body and our energy body's over there, and we're chasing it with the when,
yeah,
we can't be present. We're not in our creative zone of genius, and we're put all of our good emotions into a bucket that's outside of where we're at now.
yes.
So we're thinking from a lack space.
Yes, absolutely.
Whereas when we reel that bucket in now, and we're like, okay, so if I were already blah blah blah, this is how I would be. I wouldn't react to that person. I wouldn't think that thought. And I think, just to speak to that, it's not that you don't have the thought, but you don't become the thought.
Yes, nice. And I love that I love words. I love semantics. Yeah. So as much as I can, and in my awareness, I stop myself from using the word want. You just recognize that word originates from lack. It actually means lack.
Yeah.
So when I did the opposite of that, then I was like, so what is the word? And it's desire. Yeah, so I looked up desire, because I like to know the origination of words. And the word desire means wish.
Nice.
And when you go into look at the origination of word for wish, there is no word. So I was like, oh, we're the genie. We're the lamp.
Nice.
It's that we're the lamp. So we're always in abundance.
Yeah.
That choice is our abundance.
And that is gold dust right there. Because the minute you know that, this really annoys my clients when I say this to them, but the minute you know that, everything you do afterwards is a choice to keep creating more of what you don't want, or an opportunity to be in that vibration of positive expectation.
Yeah.
So my favorite thing that I say is we must have faith in an outcome we cannot see nor guarantee.
Yes, lovely.
Right? Because we don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know how it might arrive. We have no idea of the best outcome of that.
Yeah.
But if we can be in the energy of that, we all know that goals are emotions, like in physical form. So if you want to feel free or successful or voluptuous or vibrant or whatever words, let's be that now. And then you're like a magnet for the outcomes that bring more of that into your life.
Because the brain's a magnet. We know that the brain is a magnet. So if we pay attention to our intention, which is the same thing as you're saying, oh my God, it's limitless.
Yeah. But it's just so, I think in the world we're in now, it's so back to front. And it feels so like people go, oh, what a load of woo-woo nonsense. It's not. It's like scientifically proven.
Yes.
But it's anybody that feels like out of control, and we both know about mental health, so we can say from that respect, like when you've been in that dark space and you hear people talking like you and I, you're like, you don't want to hear it, because everything feels so dark.
Yeah.
But then we've got nothing to lose by at least entertaining that there. So if you entertain it as a possibility, we can then ask the questions to make it a reality.
Yes. Nice.
If you can just do when I was in that space, I had just started with reading books about angels. That's where I started, right? And then I did the meditations, and then I bought my cards, and it was a slow step-by-step process, like climbing out of the dark.
Yeah.
But I had to believe there was something other than what I was currently experiencing.
Yeah, and currently believing, because it's our beliefs. And sometimes we realize that these beliefs don't belong to us.
Mm-hmm.
They're from our generations, or they're from our cultures, or they're socially, that social contagion, and we can just, when we're in that moment, when we just listen to that small, still voice that just says, why don't you just try this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's like what you said. You got one angel card, and then you got another one, and then you bought the cards, and then
Yeah.
And, and look at you now, you're a leading coach, with a wealth of experience,
Mm-hmm.
because you've chosen to really dig into your life
Mm-hmm.
and to say, no, nothing's perfect. I will say the same for myself as well. Nothing is, we don't want to go towards this perfection. We want to go towards this living a
Yeah.
high performance life
Yeah.
in its adversity and in its opportunities, in its challenges and in its light, in its laughter and
Mm-hmm.
in its tears, because that's the whole.
Yeah. And that, this whole thing of like the yin and the yang and the dark and the light, and not, not coming from that space of self-judgment, because when we're self-judgment, it means we're
Yeah.
comparing ourselves to something, to someone, to some place.
Yeah.
Nothing ever good comes from that. So if
Yeah.
we can give ourselves permission to be where we are, and to take
Yeah.
tiny steps, and to elongate our timeline, and to define success on our terms, and to love the way that we, right now, we can release self-judgment. So automatically
Yeah.
our vibration's gone up. And if our
Yes.
vibration goes up, guess what? We get more good stuff come in.
Yes, exactly.
And people go, what have you been doing? And you go, nothing. I've just been vibrating higher.
Elevating the frequency.
Totally.
I love it. I love it. So Lou, like, can you give us 3 tips for people wishing to have more necessity in their lives?
Okay, so rather than 3 tips, I'll quickly teach you the framework that I created for my course. So it's called the Driving
Yeah.
Force Framework, because
Mm.
I always struggle with this whole why thing. Like if you know the why, then the how will become easy, and it just never landed for me, right? And I've always been a bit more of a why not person, not being driven by certainty. I'm like, why not try that? Why not experience this?
Yeah.
So I
I'm gonna do a hashtag now. Let me set my hashtag for today. Why not? Hashtag why not?
So one of the things that I've got a bit of feedback on here now. That's weird. Are you got feedback on your end?
No, I haven't.
Okay, hopefully it's gone now.
Okay.
So yeah, so I was more of a why not. So I wanted to create something to help people who felt like their why wasn't big enough, because that's another thing, right? If you don't have we need to be okay with our why being, I just don't want to work for somebody else, or I want to put my kids through college, or whatever it is. You don't have to have a why where right now you want to save the world. It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay not to be that person.
Yeah.
So the driving force framework is like, you see it as a triangle, and the first thing on the left-hand side is called your value ribbon. So I ask people to go back and look through their lives and say, what are the things that have always been important to me? What are the things that I see through every year or every decade that have come through?
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been about experience. Experience has been a huge thing for me. It's always been about love. Love has always been top of my list. And it's always been about sort of like growth.
Yeah.
So go through and have a look at what are the values. Maybe you've always been very committed to your health. Maybe you've always been very committed to service. Whatever it is, there will be 1 or 2, maybe 3 key things from quite a young age that have been pivotal and constant in your life. So that's the value thread. So find out what they are.
So is that like, so I'm putting a triangle and then I've got a value ribbon there. Yeah. Okay.
Right. On the opposite side to that is I write down wounds become wisdom.
Okay. Wounds become wisdom. Yeah.
So what I like to do is I like to ask people to go sort of back down their timeline and talk about, or become aware of the things in life that they have been challenged by and overcome, that they have survived, because sometimes it's a survival, right? Or thrived from. And it can be everything from being, bullied in the playground, to illness, to divorce, to it could be something that seems really seemingly inconsequential, but actually when you think about it, there was an instant, or there was a change occurred within you because of that experience.
Yes.
So oftentimes, as you know, people have these life experiences and it can then create a bit of a victim mentality.
Yes. Yes.
But if we can extract the pain, we just get left with the wisdom, right? So I had this experience. This person didn't do this thing to me. I had this experience with this person. I had this experience with this illness, or I had this experience with this thing. And I've extracted the pain because I had to experience that pain for my growth.
Yeah.
And now the wisdom that is left me is this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, I think whether you are a business owner who wants to use that as part of your story and as part of your why,
Yeah.
or whether you're somebody that wants to better your life, give yourself credit for the wounds that you have and how you can use them to help yourself and help other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because that is so powerful, because you don't have to. I think the other thing is sometimes people feel they've got to have had a massive life meltdown.
Yes.
Right? They've got, something really, really bad has had to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inspirational, but that's rubbish, because
Yeah.
somebody who's going through the pain of a divorce right now
Yeah.
wants to know that all these things that they're feeling are okay. Or
Yeah.
somebody that's got postnatal depression who actually doesn't even want to be around her children, she wants to know that she's normal.
Yeah.
Right? And if you've come out of the other side of that, you have a gift for her.
Yes, because we teach what we struggle.
Right. So we have this opportunity to be able to serve. But if it's just us, I don't want to say just, if right now our journey is for ourselves,
yes,
then we can give ourselves and say, look what I've come through. What did I learn? And how can I put that now into my life to continue my growth pathway?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's gold. And I think one of the things that I want to identify with there is that in that journey is that when some people say, like what you said, oh, but that hasn't happened to me, or this only happened to me, or blah, 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 or this only happened to me. The thing is, no matter what's happened to you, the feelings are always the same.
The same. You have literally just mirrored a conversation I had with my group yesterday.
Yeah.
It's, you don't need exactly like whatever level you're at. If you're experiencing grief, you're experiencing grief. If it's pain, and you don't need to put yourself on a chart with anybody.
No, because you compare. Because if you compare, you're gonna despair.
Yeah,
just know that.
I love that.
Yeah, you compare, you despair. That's a 12-step. I'm in recovery. We know that, but but if you compare, you despair. I've always remembered that, because it does. The moment you do that, you're out of your own.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're in, and I think going right back to the beginning when we talked about like what does high performance mean for me, and it is being like authentically transparent. And like I've got so much work to do on myself still, but you know what?
Of course, we all have.
I'm going to invite you to the party, because this can be fun. It can be painful, but it can be fun. So, and having that, I think wisdom is just so gorgeous, and that's why these conversations are great, because I don't know why, but I can feed from your wisdom. Like I can't have your experience.
Yeah.
But I can feed from and grow from your wisdom through conversation, period.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why Brendan gets us all, because he knows, even himself, that we learn together. We are stronger together. I've been saying that all day. We are stronger together.
With you on that one.
So we've got the value ribbon. No, we've got the value ribbon. We've got the wounds become wisdom. What have we got down here?
The last one. Ooh, are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
The last conversation. So going back to what we said before about mortality motivation.
Yeah.
When you are coming towards the end of your life.
Yeah.
And you're saying goodbye to people and loved ones are around you, What do you want to be saying?
Yeah.
I did it the other way around. I flipped it to start off with, what do I not want to be saying?
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So at first, it fed, my heart's gone all funny. It was very much about like going back to that, not wanting to live in regret.
Yeah.
And and that. So some people want to start from what do I not want to be saying? And then I'm going to invite them to say, okay, so what do you want to say?
Yeah.
What do you want to be saying? So, and I like to imagine that maybe you've got kind of like little grandchildren there, people that are really going to remember those words forever.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. Gary and I watched the Billy Connolly thing yesterday and it was to do with like his last saying goodbye, because he's not going to do any more live stuff.
Yeah.
And at the end, he was really touched, and his words were so wonderful. He said, "You need to remember that I'm happy and I made this choice.
I love you.
Right, so I'm lit in bed like crying because like this guy is a genius and he had such a horrific childhood.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But this a genius man, and like watching his life unfold. But him giving us that gift to say, remember, I made this choice and I'm happy with my life.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, it was, you didn't have to have that sort of heaviness and that sadness. So that last conversation needs to be something that gets you right here.
Yeah.
That when you're being whinge face one morning and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, or this is too hard, or whatever, we all do it, don't we? We all have those days where we're like whinging. You can go to that value ribbon, and that one there, that last conversation should be the one that kicks you right up your butt and back into where you need to be. And even if that is what's one small thing that I can do right now just to elevate me, that's enough.
Yeah.
You haven't got to go from overwhelmed and anxious into like joyful expansion.
No.
But a little bit less overwhelm, a little bit less anxiety, a little bit more into faith.
Yeah.
Now you're winning your day to day.
Yeah, it's like Brian Colbert always says to me, he's like one of my master mentors as well. And he says, oh, loads of people tell you to let go. It's time to let go. He said, all we have to remember is just don't hold on so tightly.
Yeah, it's so true. So true, isn't it? Because again, we can step into that self-judgment.
Yeah,
can't we?
Exactly.
Oh my God, I'm so useless because this thing's going round and round in my head. And yeah, it's probably been going round in your head for like 40 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Cut yourself a break, right? Ask yourself, I had this thing called the 3 A's. So like have the awareness.
Yeah.
Affirm the opposite.
Yeah. And
act to cement that new affirmation in.
Yeah, and act immediately.
Exactly.
That's so important.
Yeah. So
don't give yourself time to talk yourself out.
No, and even if that's a case of like, and again, I think what a theme around what we've talked about today is like the little steps, the tiny steps are I think more valuable than the big steps because they will create your identity shift.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? If you're used to waking up in the morning and you spend 30 minutes talking yourself out of getting out of bed and that's how you start your day, and you can only do that for 25 minutes for a couple of days, and then you're winning.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Give yourself permission for every little tiny win that is another piece of the puzzle in your new identity.
Yeah, can you just 1 second? I'm just going to slow this down because Marilise is saying, love you, ladies. We love you too, Marilise. Andre is just saying, we love Andre. He's like a positive magnet. This guy is always on Instagram with his dances and
love it.
He's always just sending out such really good positive energy. But he's asking you, Louise, he's saying, can you say the 3 A's again, please?
Of course, yeah. So the first one is awareness. So it's an awareness of when we're out of our highest vibration. An awareness of when we're thinking something or saying something that doesn't serve our best experience, if you like. So anything that basically makes you feel like poo, right? That's the awareness.
Yeah.
The second thing is to affirm. So it's an affirmation of the opposite.
Yeah.
An affirmation that moves you out of that energy. So let's just talk about, as an example, like as a small business owner.
Yeah.
I actually, as a business owner, let's take the small out. We can often say to ourselves, "Oh, I'm just not far enough along yet."
Yes.
And our affirmation might be, "But look how far I've come."
Yeah.
Or I work at this every day, or I'm aligning with an amazing outcome, or I am an incredible human being who constantly works every day to create my dream life. So an affirmation that shifts your energy immediately.
Yeah.
And the third thing, like you said, take immediate action to cement in that affirmation. So that action could be anything from anchoring yourself into a power state, get your music on. And because let's face it, the minute you do an action that raises your vibration, you've just won.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So it could just be your power song, your power pose, and let that energy like get into every cell of your body.
Yeah.
It could be, I don't know, getting on a sales call and getting a new, attracting a new client. It could be eating a healthy meal instead of a crappy meal.
Yeah.
But something to affirm that new identity that you're you're striving towards. And it's, if we do that every day,
yeah,
and what we're then doing is we're challenging those 3 C's. So we're challenging the conditioning,
yeah,
the conversation, and
yeah,
our level of comfort.
absolutely.
You can't not become a new person when you do that.
Exactly. Can I just also say, like, thank you, Marilise, for writing those down. Awareness, affirmation, action. Thank you. And thank you, Andre. And Marilise is saying, I love AAA. and Andre is saying, awesome. So can we also just delve into a little bit affirmation? Can I just say that we can also remind others that there is also affirmation as well. And the affirmation is about presupposing that you're already there. Okay, so when Louise has just said, I am a brilliant, what was one of the affirmations you said? I am a brilliant business leader. Some people need affirmations which say, why am I a brilliant
Love that. Yeah.
brilliant business leader? I am an affirmation person, not an affirmation person.
Okay.
I work better with affirmations.
I love that.
Because my body knows immediately, oh, I'm there. So then I start thinking as this business leader. I don't know why it happens. It just does. It's just like, I have no idea. But if I start saying I am a business leader, I go, which part of me is a business leader? I don't know. Yeah. So, and neither right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's just what is a buzz situation for you. But then I can get maybe a little bit deeper into something else for a different subject matter, and then I need the I am rather than the why am I.
Yeah.
So it's play about with those if you can, because I think for some people that might be quite interesting. But as you've said, they always have to have the I am in it, or why am I?
Yeah.
You know, so stated in that space. So thanks for bringing that up, Louise, because I think we that's a great reminder around affirmations and affirmations. Louise, can I just say, you need to write a book.
Yeah, I know. I have the title. Does that count?
Yes, it does count. So I'm going to celebrate you in that. And I'm going to move you towards, with energetic wisdom, that knowing that you've got another author here, Marilise de Villiers, who wrote Raw. You've got Saida Zaidi, who wrote Results. She's also one of our certified high performance coaches. My book's on the way. It's in the computer. I'm printing it out today. I want you. I desire for you. I desire for you that wish, that moment in time, in the right time and under grace and in the right way for you, that your book goes off the charts.
Thank you.
You've just got this innate understanding of an intuitive high performance person. And I really love that about you. I really, really love that about you. So can I just put that up in my makeshift? See, look, nothing's perfect. We're just doing this thing. So Absolutely. You've got your value ribbon. You've got Wounds Become Wisdom. And I like that as the name of the book. But, you know, and even that. The Last Conversation also, you know, this is, Louise, you've got this on a course as well, haven't you?
Yes, I have, yeah.
And what's the actual course called?
My course, it's a program on a course. It's called Success Superstar Formula.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And where can people find you? Because, you know, people might love this and want to, you know, check in with you.
So my website is yourrichlife.co.uk. I've got my blog. Yeah. I've got a podcast on, that's also on my website, but also on Apple, called Your Rich Life Podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
You can also find me on Facebook as Louise Cartwright.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I'm on Instagram. Strangely, at the moment, my name on Instagram is Coach and a Camper.
All right, because I was like wondering, I couldn't find you on Instagram, so because I wanted to tag you into the post.
Yeah, that's a long story. So yeah, I'm currently coaching a camper. I don't use Instagram that much at the moment, so probably best to stick to my Facebook and my website and my podcast, because I love the podcast. Oh, and look, Marilise is being really sweet to me. She's such a diamond. She's working with me, and yeah, and it's the Success Superstar was only born in August of this year.
Yeah.
And it's an amalgamation of NLP and CHPC and the whole intuitive stuff about, you know, like sometimes you can just feel somebody's journey for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting a bit emotional, and you can see the layers that need to come off, and you
Yeah.
can feel their greatness, and
Yeah.
being able to facilitate someone stepping into that,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's what I was born for.
Yeah. I think
So
it is what you were born for,
the
sister.
book is actually called Be More Lobster. That's what it's going
Yeah.
to be called.
Oh my God, I always say the world is your lobster. I always say that. Oh my God.
So it's definitely called hashtag Be More Lobster. I've just got to sit and write it. Yeah.
Yes. So Mary-Lise is saying, I agree, Nadine, Louise wisdom is insane. Amen to that. Mary-Lise is also saying Louise program Success Superstar Formula program is a book in itself. Mary-Lise de Villiers is saying it's a wonderful program, doing it right now. Andre says, I agree, Mary-Lise. Mary-Lise says it has been a total game changer.
There is some Louise loving going on today. I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah. What a way to end 2020 and to go into the portal, your words, of 2021.
I really truly believe that no matter what is going on right now, you know, there is like a Doctor Who moment available to all of us where we get to just choose how we step in to what's coming. And the more of us that we can hold space to keep the vibration high, to constantly seek opportunity and possibility.
Yeah.
We will change the world that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And to always remember that the world, and because I know that you've touched on this a little bit, the world is also our inner world.
Yeah.
There is an inner world and there is an outer world. Mm-hmm. And those two worlds need to come into alignment. Yeah. And this is the work we do on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. You're incredible, Louise.
Oh, do you know what? I'm going to totally take that.
Yes, you are. You're going to receive it. Yes, you are incredible. I have watched you. I met you in 2018, I think. I did actually meet you in 2018, I think, when we were in the States.
Yep.
On a face-to-face. And I never forget just what I loved about you is just your honesty and your openness and your vibrant energy. For me, I always knew that when I was going to talk to you, I'd get a very direct answer. You know, I wouldn't be kind of like looking for, oh my gosh, does she mean this when she says that? No, you just say what you mean.
As it is.
Yeah, you just say it as it is. And I love that about you. And I think it's one of the things that anybody working with you would really love about your work, because they just know where they stand with you. But also your intuition. I mean, there is a few of us now that are bringing the intuitiveness into high performance coaching. Nina Amir, that's coming on today, myself going, because I'm studying as a metaphysician now, you know, and with you with your cards and other avenues that you're taking through into your intuitive work. And I just feel like you have been one of the great leaders in that, actually, because you've never been afraid to say, no, this is part of what I do. I'm very fully in this space. Mm-hmm. And that you play with it. You bring out your cards sometimes on some of your talks and stuff like that. I want to celebrate that in you. You need to hear that, I think, because I just think that it takes courage. And that's another high performance habit. And it takes courage to go first. It takes courage to influence, you know, and you are a great influencer in and around that. I love your quirky videos that you've always put out. They're like bang on point. They're in your highest vibration always, and it's right in the center of your frequency. You're an amazing human being. You're an amazing soul. You're an amazing spirit. We are so lucky to have you in this lifetime. I really, really mean it. So if you do get the chance to go and work with this woman, please do. She will elevate you through the portal of 2021. Believe you, with bells on. So I just thank you for being here.
Oh, it's been what an amazing way to, like you say, to end the year. Magical conversations are like I said, I could live on a diet of those. And the hardest part of that was, and Mary-Lise will know this, is taking compliments can be really challenging for us all. And like I'm sitting here, there's a slight bit of squirming going on, but I'm going to dedicate myself 2021, not only to write my book, but obviously to receive compliments more easily. So thank you for putting me in that space already.
Oh, thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Everybody, thank you if you're watching this now or later. You know, thank you for taking the time to be with us, to elevate your own frequency. Tell other people about it. You know, this is the 31st of December. You know, this is your new way forward. You know, I hope there's been some tools and stuff that you've been able to take forward with you into 2021 that you can share with your family, your friends. You can see we're all about relationships and elevating those relationships as well, and keeping the fire within alight. So let's burn our own candles, and let's burn a candle for everyone else in 2021 and keep it alight. It has no permission to go out this year. We are keeping that pilot light alight.
Love it.
So thank you. Thanks, Louise. Thanks, Natalie. Thank you. Take care now. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.